How's it going, guys? We are back. Let me know if the audio sounds good, if the visuals sound good. We are here with another 1 hour live stream in the Good Health Saunas Corner Hybrid. So again, this is one of my favorite units, being about 6'2", plenty enough room, put my legs fully extended on the bench here. We're gonna go through how to use an infrared sauna, a couple key features on what separates a low quality and what makes one a high quality sauna. So if you're just joining us, welcome. We're gonna be using an infrared sauna. This is the Good Health Saunas Hybrid series. So this thing absolutely rocks, guys. You can set it up to 165 degrees. Now with infrared sauna, I know there's a lot of people that are curious, what separates an infrared sauna from the traditional sauna I use at the gym? What separates it from a steam room that I might use there as well, or at a spa? And there's a couple key differences. And so one of them being infrared is a radiant heat. You can see here we're in our photo shoot room, and this unit being about 5 by 5, no venting, no plumbing, no water lines. It just plugs into a 110 20 amp connection. So if you have any questions, drop them down in the chat. This is, again, a hybrid series, full spectrum infrared saunas. So big thing with no matter what type of sauna you use, obviously you want to use real lumber. This one in particular is 100% FSC certified Canadian hemlock. So solid lumber construction. A lot of those lower quality ones, the $1,500, $2,500 unit, $3,500 units, they cut corners in a couple different ways. One of them being the materials. So they're gonna pass that along to the consumer. They may market it as a budget-friendly option, but no matter who you get one from, if you wanted to have enough heaters that actually gets hot enough from a reputable company that's been around for a while, it's gonna start around $6,000, go up from there. You can't manufacture one for any less. Like I said, they start cutting corners from the construction, the heater design or heater placement. You can see online influencers that'll jump around from different brands to promote certain ones, whichever is giving them the best deal at the certain time. So big thing is look at the heater design, 360 degree heat, that's the most important thing. So obviously in this corner hybrid series, nice and tall back heaters. So anyone who's above that like 5'10", maybe even 5'8", 5'9" range, you still have nice and even heat distribution, any neck, shoulder stiffness. You're getting that deep full spectrum infrared. So this is gonna be a full spectrum 1 hour live session. We're jumping in and we're gonna start the unit here and then allow it to get up to core body temp. So a little bit different than, let's say, like the traditional saunas you're using at the gym, where that may just be using a furnace style. It's gonna heat up the ambient air. Infrared is gonna heat my actual body. So it's getting about 1.5 inches into the soft tissue muscle compared to that ambient air temperature, which can sometimes get to be a suffocating type feeling. The infrared actually gets, like I said, about 1.5 inches in that soft tissue muscle. So much less abrasive heat, much more beneficial for that deep relaxation as far as muscles, and then any aches, pains, inflammation, arthritis. Detoxification is one of the big benefits as well, because when you start to sweat, and compared to that traditional sauna where it's heating my surface and heating that ambient air, I'm really not sweating all that much, or I can only stay in for 15, 20 minutes because, like I said, suffocating type feeling. Dries out my eyes, my nose, my mouth. Where if you guys stick around for the full hour, you'll see I can stay in here from 40, 45 up to about an hour long and still get a ton more benefits because I'm raising my core temperature compared to just my superficial temperature. So raising that core temperature simulates an artificial fever-like response. That's why I want to jump in around the core body temperature. So I turned the unit on a little bit ago. It's around room temperature. So I'm gonna let it get up to, like I said, 100, 110, close to that core body temp, heat up with the unit, and then about 20, 30 minutes in, I'm gonna be dripping sweat. 45 minutes, I'm gonna be getting that passive cardiovascular workout. So tons and tons of benefits throughout each different stage of using an infrared sauna. And it kind of depends what you're looking to get out of it too. So that is a big thing. If you guys, like I said, have any questions, if you're just joining us, welcome. Let me know where you're tuning in from. If you've used an infrared sauna before, this is gonna be an hour-long session. We're going on number 4, I believe, maybe 5, but this is in the corner hybrid, 5 by 5. It's only about 80, 85 degrees in here right now. We're gonna show you guys some stats along the way as far as like the heart rate, calorie burn, starting heart rate, getting up to that 120, 30 range where you get that passive cardiovascular workout. And so throughout those benefits, the infrared compared to a traditional sauna where you're still gonna sweat, but the infrared that's getting into that soft tissue muscle, that's gonna help vasodilate the blood vessels. So vasodilation of the blood vessels allows a lot more oxygenated blood to flow throughout the body. So when you're vasodilating blood vessels, allows your heart to become a lot more of an efficient pump. It doesn't have to work as hard because it's like running blood in fire hoses compared to garden hoses. And so this unit here has 360-degree heat. There are obviously saunas that give you all glass fronts, 360-degree heat, but this hybrid series specifically has 2-tier heating systems. So compared to just having one type of heater where you'll see the back wraparounds are carbon. Carbon heaters are very nice because they evenly distribute the heat. They're gonna take a little bit longer to heat up. So that's why you can't see them, but on both sides of the unit here, it has ceramic alloy heaters. Ceramic alloy heaters allow the unit to get up to those higher temperatures in a nice quick amount of time. And it's already up to 90 degrees. So give it another 5-10 minutes here. It'll be getting up to around 100, 110. That's when we're gonna start the session, again, close to that core body temp, because then we can raise the core body temp roughly 3.5 degrees, stimulate that artificial fever-like response. That's gonna help activate the water molecules. Those activated water molecules can attach themselves to heavy metals, toxins, carcinogens that get built up and stored throughout the body. That's gonna allow your body to naturally pull them out. It's also really good for skin purification. So sweating allows for shedding off a lot of the dead skin cells. So we're super excited for obviously all those benefits, and that's why we use an infrared sauna consistently 3, 4, or 5 times a week. So if you guys are just joining us, again, welcome. We're doing a 1-hour live session. Staying hydrated is super, super important. So we are grabbing some water here, but obviously hydration throughout the day, not just before, not just during, and definitely not just after. You want to drink a ton of water before, during, and then again, obviously after using the sauna too. So if you guys are just joining, welcome. Drop down in the chat if you've used an infrared sauna, if you're curious about getting one, if you have one already, let me know where you're watching from. So I'm using a corner hybrid series. It's gonna be 5x5 here. And so I'm about 6 foot, 6'1" or 2 with the shoes on. Plenty enough room here to obviously put my legs fully extended on the bench. This is gonna be an hour-long session. So I just turned the unit on about, let's say 10-ish, 15 minutes ago. It's getting up to around 100, 110 degrees. That's when I'm gonna jump in and heat up with the unit. Raising that core body temp like we were talking about earlier, but then also that's gonna allow those heaters to constantly be running. And so when the heaters are constantly running, compared to that hot rock furnace where it's just gotta heat all of that ambient air up, and there's obviously gonna be a big temperature difference from the bottom of the unit to the top where all the heat's gonna rise to the top, this full spectrum infrared sauna has 360-degree heat. So no matter where I sit, there's even heat distribution. So if you're planning to use it together or with someone, that's what I always tell everyone, where big thing, you don't want to be having to sit in there, significant other, girlfriend, she's going to be close to the heater in my case, where then I'd be sitting on the colder side of the unit, just a gentleman I am. But then 360-degree heat obviously doesn't matter where you guys sit, you're both going to be getting that even benefit. And a lot of people like to say, oh, well, that glass front really doesn't matter that much. But if you don't have heaters on the front half of the unit, it's almost like sitting in front of a radiator. All that heat's on your back, nothing on the front of the body here. So those are a couple key things to notice and what separates like a low quality and what makes one a high quality unit. Another big thing is just a quick heat up time. It's already up to like 100 degrees in here. So that's super, super quick compared to those units that may have 3, 4, 5 heating elements, 6, maybe 7, depending the size of the unit is what it really boils down to. And then obviously the heater design, configuration, and then overall making sure you're getting that full spectrum benefit. So this is obviously my favorite unit just because the ample amount of space in there for me to stretch out, especially doing this for you guys. staying in there a little bit longer than maybe I typically would if I was just going throughout my everyday usage, where I may only have 20, 30 minutes. I can still jump in, get a really good sweat going, but here I can sit in there a little bit longer, really emphasize that passive cardiovascular workout. So that's a big thing, guys. It's not that high abrasive air temperature where if someone isn't going to use it, if your significant other's been hesitant about getting a sauna before, look into the infrared, because it's not that high abrasive air temperature. It's not going to dry out the hair. It's not going to, like I said, dry out your nose, your mouth, your ears. You're going to get a lot more benefits. You're still going to sweat buckets, and especially with that hybrid series, if significant other doesn't want to set it up to be that hot, but then if you want to get in there and crank it up, you can do so. So that's always nice to have that option. And then in here too, obviously, being a live stream at 7, if I really wanted to, I could preset the reservation mode. And so I could have the unit turn on at a certain time, and then all I'd have to do is just open up the door and get in, and then sauna will be ready to rock and roll. So, excuse me. This, again, is gonna be an hour-long session. Let me know where you're watching, if you're thinking about getting an infrared sauna, if you have one, if you've used one before, where you're tuning in from. So, welcome. We're doing an hour-long session in a corner hybrid series. So this is the Good Health Saunas corner hybrid. This is obviously one of my favorite units with that big L-shaped bench, floor heat, calf heaters, and then obviously those big wraparound heaters. I was just in a golf outing this past weekend, and so having those big heaters around your body, and especially the back, shoulders, some of the big benefits I notice is just that deep muscle relaxation, especially in a golf swing. It's a different type and a little bit of an unnatural, especially for my background. I played a lot of basketball, lacrosse, ran track. So those are all different type of movements where, especially depending if you're in a different type of workplace where, like I said, auto mechanics in general, or construction, those laborious jobs where you may be working, or if you're just contorting your bodies in different ways, or even just sitting in an office 7, 8 hours, that's gonna do wear and tear on your joints, your muscles, your ligaments. So having something in the comfort of your own home that you can use consistently, get all those long-term health benefits with a nice quick heat up time, and you know you're gonna have it because it's obviously designed to last. It doesn't have paper thin walls, it doesn't have paper thin benches. So those are all things to look at and consider, especially when everyone's looking for the next tool in their health and wellness journey. So you guys are coming along with me, which obviously we're super excited for. So units getting up there, I gotta put the towels in. So that's a big thing as we were talking about the longevity of the unit. Making sure, I like to use just nice white thick towels here. Everyone likes to ask about the maintenance. That's one of the big things. What does this look like when I get it in my own home? I always say, get some nice big plush towels. That's gonna make it super easy. Just put those on the bench, put one on the floor. You guys really can't see it, but for me, I always have my feet on that floor heater, and then 5, 10, 15 minutes in, when I start getting a good sweat, then I'll take the towel, put it right over that floor heat, still have my feet getting the benefits, still have that heat coming through, but then that just helps obviously not allow that sweat to get in that floor heater, the sweat to just accumulate if it's dripping off chin, elbows, shoulders, and whatnot. So big thing is just putting the towels on the bench and floor. Make sure you do that every time, guys. I can't preach that enough. Towels on the bench and floor, and then just take the damp towels out and you're done. That's one of the nice parts. Pretty minimal to no maintenance aspect of it, and so we are putting one on the bench and on the floor. In this case, 2 on the bench, 2 on the floor. But nice thing is you can just fold them, and then when you're in here, at least in my case, I move around so much, I don't mind moving them around a little bit. So I just fold it up, because then one big fold in there, especially with these nice plush towels, will help just get and keep any of the sweat off those benches. That just really helps with the longevity of the unit. And so nice thing is with obviously putting the towel on the floor there, I can still just kick it off with my feet. And then when I start to, like I said, sweat, I'll kick that towel out. That'll just help the unit keep itself clean. You do have an air purification unit, so ionizer, ozonator. Then you can run that once or twice a month. runs the air through that electronic filter, ionizes it, helps kill off any of the bacteria of the unit. So super, super easy to use, guys. We're gonna jump in because the unit is already up to body temperature, and then we're gonna get the mic situated. So give us one quick second. All right, guys, we are starting the 1 hour session. So that means we gotta start the watch here, and that will get the starting heart rate. And we can keep track of my average heart rate, what it gets up to towards the end of the session, getting that passive cardiovascular workout, and then passive calories burned too. So that's a big thing, especially in today's day and age. Everyone is looking for, and being up here in Wisconsin, thank gosh we're finally starting to get some warm weather. And so before, in those cold winter months, it's really hard for me. I like going outside. You can still, obviously with golfing, get that passive cardiovascular workout, but hiking, biking, pickleball, tennis, basketball, just any of those outdoor activities. And still, when I'm using the sauna, I get a ton more of those benefits with the muscle relaxation, the detox, but I still feel like I went and I played a 45-minute pickup game 5-and-5 up and down. I still went and I feel like I ran or I walked 2 miles around Latin Peak up in the state forest around here. So those are the big things. Let me know if the audio still sounds good here, guys. And as far as the heart rate, resting heart rate, should have started out with about probably 75 beats per minute. Getting into the unit, it's getting into the 90-ish beats per minute. So being that that's a little bit quicker, obviously that I'm talking a ton, that's going to elevate my heart rate. When I'm talking inside here, that probably limits my time, where if I wasn't constantly talking throughout the session, then I could stay in here a little bit longer. But obviously the whole point of the live session is for you guys to ask me questions, have a chance to look and see what a full session in a medical grade infrared sauna can do or can look like, and what it can even look like in your own home if you have a corner that you're planning to put something in, or if you've had one forever that you haven't been able to think of anything to put in that space. So sounds good on the audio, great, I'd love to hear that. And the unit temperature is about 114 in here. So as you can see, we got in probably 15-ish minutes, 20 minutes in. So nice quick heat up time, just with the amount of heaters. And like I said, the size of them as well, just covering that neck and back area. For me, obviously, like I said, with that golf game and having like higher coverage for the full back, if, like I said, you're using it for that muscle relaxation, muscle recovery, or if you're just using it to get a ton of those skin benefits too. The quicker you can start to sweat, the quicker you can start to get all those long-term health benefits that everyone sees and hears about online. And so that's a big thing just in the industry. I know you can see tons of different options out there, and that's just like anything. There's, if you type in anything, there's 15, 20 different options that'll pop up, oftentimes with a range of pricing. And especially in the saunas, and when you're looking to invest in your health, it's super important to make sure you're getting something that actually is going to be beneficial. You don't want something that's made with particle board, plywood, press board. Like I said, when they're manufactured for that $2,000, $3,000, maybe even $4,000 price point, they're oftentimes cutting corners in a couple different ways. One of them may be just making it high EMF if it's not full spectrum heaters, or if it doesn't have enough heaters. They may have no calf covers or calf heater coverage, where when you're sitting in it, when you're going to want to use it consistently in the long term, those are little details that you're going to notice. And it's not just me obviously pushing one certain thing, where all of the saunas are covering those main points, because when we sat there and used and have been doing it for 20 plus years, those are the big things that our customers told us, we heard from our industry research, ripping apart and like I said, reverse engineering all 7 and making sure that they have the most heating elements per square foot, 360-degree heating elements, and then having that nice quick heat up time, and then standing behind it with that warranty. So this unit, like I said, absolutely rocks. We are only about 5 minutes in, and heart rate's starting to get up there. The unit's already in the 120s, so nice thing with this corner unit, like I said, nice and spacious in here. Big thing that you want to look for is making sure that, obviously, we were talking about the heating elements, that lumber construction, but a lot of the companies out there, they don't show you, or they don't take the time to go through and figure out what you're actually looking for. You may want something, or you may think that one person is going to be the perfect size, or that's all you may need. I couldn't tell you how many times where a one person is the right fit for some people, but the amount of times people did sit in one person and realize, ooh, since I have that space for it, I go with that 2-person, it's going to get used a lot more because it's a little more comfortable. I have that extra space for me and my significant other to sit in, so just because we can use it together, we're going to use it a lot more. I would always say it's worth having a chat with someone who's been using infrared saunas, looking at all the different health benefits, and obviously not just using or preaching about one certain product. It's big because when they're using and consistently using an infrared sauna, there's going to be a few key features that everyone talks about. When looking at certain brands, though, that's when it really boils down to, obviously, the reputation, how long they've been in business for, and so those are the big things to look at, is real reviews, not just online advertising. Marketing and advertising teams are crazy good nowadays, and if they just put it up on their website, you can't trust that too, because web developers can pretty much put up anything. So for me, I always like going to Google. I mean, that's one of the best sources. Google, obviously, all those algorithms out there nowadays are so good at reading through fake reviews, making sure it's real customers that have their personal testimonial and experience out there. You can't just get hundreds of thousands of Google reviews from customers that don't exist. And same thing, you don't have customers out there that are all saying, we absolutely love our Good Health Saunas, because that's just the marketing campaign. There are thousands of those customers. Google, Meta, those are companies that are designed to not have and be trusted with customers' personal experiences throughout using their app. So we want to make sure at Good Health Saunas that, obviously, we focus on making sure it's the safest, most efficient, most effective saunas out there. Not, like I said, just having 15, 20 other products, making sure, and we're not one of those companies that'll have and carry 15 different brands. We make sure that we only manufacture 2 brands of saunas, the Signature and the Hybrid series, which I'm in the Hybrid right now. But the Signature is as good, if not better, than anything else out there. The Hybrid series, like I said, newest, thickest, hottest series out there. But each one is designed to be the most beneficial it possibly can be. It's not just out there just so somebody can line their pockets at the end of the day. We do it to make sure you guys get an actual medical grade sauna from a reputable company that's there at the end of the day, that specializes in saunas, because there's really nobody out there that does that. You may have companies or keyboard warriors out there, but we actually go to the home shows, the state fairs all across the country. I mean, for me, traveling, that's probably one of my favorite parts of this job. And I realized shortly here now that I forgot my water bottle. So we are probably going to have to crack the door and get me my water bottle here in a second when Alexis catches up on the feed. But big thing that I have personally enjoyed is just traveling for the company. And so going to all these different places, I mean, out east, Maine, Massachusetts, down to Tennessee, out to the Carolinas, I mean, all across the country, as far as Minnesota, Indiana, Ohio. We were just out in California, met a bunch of great people at the social media conference too. But using and traveling and talking to customers. Mic down. Hopefully she's okay. Let me know if the audio is still good, guys. I'm going to be devastated if the audio is down after that. But using and, like I said, traveling to all these commercial places, going to the state fairs, using the saunas. Using the saunas, talking to customers who have had theirs for years, and I've gotten one and said, it's one of the best investments I made. I use it almost every single day. I was able to taper off my blood pressure medication. It helped my husband get back to playing pickleball 3 to 4 times a week. I go to the gym 3 to 4 times a week. I lost that X amount of weight I was trying to lose. So those are all the things we hear, and we tell our other customers, and just a lot of people don't know what we have to offer as far as the absolutely rock solid bulletproof saunas, and then the company and the reputation that'll stand behind a product out there too. So those are all big things to consider. And so being that we're doing the 1 hour live stream here, units at about 1:30, we're only about 10 minutes in. Nick, when did you get into saunas? What's your origin story? I got into saunas probably shortly thereafter COVID, if not during COVID. I was just graduating college. I actually went to a school, University of Wisconsin Whitewater. I had then was focusing on business with having an emphasis in healthcare management. So I wanted to get into the administration side of hospitals, healthcare, and so I was always really interested in wellness and healthcare. And I'd kind of mentioned in streams earlier where I had used to take classes in high school, the pre-biomedical, and I was sitting next to kids that are now doctors, and great, I mean, absolutely phenomenal people that, like I said, are turning out to be surgeons, doctors, nurses. And so they, sitting next to them, all realized, and myself included, wanted to help people at the end of the day. And so when I was going to college, I still obviously wanted to do so. I necessarily also enjoyed business, and so then with that healthcare management emphasis, graduating shortly thereafter, COVID had put a pretty big crazy spin on things, and so I actually had moved back home with my parents, started working, and ironically enough ran into Good Health Saunas, being a local company based in Wisconsin, and then actually started working shortly thereafter for them. Was complaining about my feet and my back hurting, started using the saunas, started to go out in deliveries. I delivered and set up customer saunas all across the country for them, and then started using saunas consistently just as of probably 5 years now. So that's kind of the origin story. Obviously I've noticed a ton of health benefits throughout those years. For me, I obviously didn't sleep as good. Now I consistently can get 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, probably not, but 7, 8 hours is consistently getting slept, where prior to this it used to be 4 or 5 hours I'd toss and turn throughout the night. I used to have a really big problem falling asleep, and so now I can actually lay down, relax, and I feel like that's just because I get a more consistent passive cardiovascular workout. And I was talking with my buddy the other day, and he was talking about how he has a trouble falling asleep at night. He'll sit there and scroll, and everybody will sit there and scroll nowadays. And when you've only been at the office, or depending your type of work, if you're only been in front of screens and you really haven't gotten that heart rate elevated, or you're not working anymore and it's harder to get that elevated heart rate, especially in the colder times of month, using the sauna and just slowly elevating that heart rate, getting the blood flowing throughout your body, raising that core temperature, and then when you're falling asleep at night, your body's naturally cooling itself down throughout the night. You're naturally going to be able to fall into a deeper sleep. And so that's why for me, I enjoy using my evening sessions just because I know I'm still going to fall asleep. Feel really good that next morning. That's one of the big benefits I notice using in the evening. Whereas if I start using it consistently in the morning, then I still feel good throughout the day. And using an infrared sauna, I feel good throughout the entire day. Whereas if I just use a traditional sauna, like I said, when we're traveling or at work, down the road at lifetime, then I will still feel good. Maybe 35, 45 minutes after, it'll last for an hour or two. And so with using an infrared sauna, and like I said, using it in the evening, I'll feel better that next morning, just having that deep sleep, muscle relaxation, muscle recovery. But then using it consistently in the morning, I still feel those benefits throughout the day. So that's why I always just recommend consistency beats intensity. A lot of people are always so conscious about the heat of an infrared sauna, or the heat of the sauna. And the main thing is, I always say, raising your core temperature. The quicker you raise your core temperature, the faster you're going to get a fever-like response. The faster you get a fever-like response, faster you're going to start to sweat. The faster you can start to sweat, the faster you're going to start to get all of those benefits. And so we've only been in for about 15 minutes here. The heart rate is probably getting close to 100 now. So I'm just starting to get a light glistening across the body here. There's obviously a nice thing with an infrared sauna is not having, and I was talking to a customer earlier who has small kids, and they were thinking about getting a sauna, and they were thinking about getting a traditional sauna. We started talking about the safety and if it's a fire hazard, and that's the nice part with an infrared sauna is when you don't have a hot rock furnace and one small furnace in a confined space like this that has to heat all of the ambient air temperature up, that small furnace has to get very, very hot. So when I'm sitting, or if I was in here, even something like I said, something like this size with one small hot rock furnace in it, I would be super close and super concerned about touching it, and having to heat the entire unit in such a small, obviously furnace style heater, it's going to take so much longer depending on the size, but the smaller and the closer you are to it, the more concerns you have to have. And so that's the nice part with an infrared. No matter where I'm at in the unit, nothing in here burns, hurts, harms me. Obviously, if I these heaters are going to be hot, but I still can touch them. That's why the grates, and even these nice thick grates, and same thing with the benches, nice thick benches on the floor, or under me here, are super key details that you're going to notice using it consistently. So being that the unit's about 135, we've been in, like I said, for only about 15 minutes. The chat has been quiet today, but those, I guess, are things that happen. We are still rocking it out, only about 16 minutes in, but getting deep into, what I personally enjoy about just using the sauna is obviously sleeping better, but for me, having that ability to take a deep breath, and when I jump out, still have that same energy, or not feel drained, not feel wiped out, are all reasons why people kind of lean towards an infrared. Especially, I had mentioned, and if you guys were watching earlier, having something that needs no venting, no plumbing, no water lines. It plugs into a 110/20 amp connection. That makes it super compatible for pretty much anywhere indoors, guys. And that's a big thing. Is we talk to a lot of people who are thinking outdoors, and it'd be so nice to have it on the back patio. And I aren't gonna disagree with you. It would be nice, but when you're actually, and when push comes to shove in the middle of winter, depending your area or depending the time of year, big thing is that heat up time and that temperature that everyone's worried about. If we're starting out at 20, 30 degrees, 50 degrees, and we want to get it up into those higher temperatures, like I said, we have this one small hot rock furnace. That's going to take a long time to heat it up. Now, you could run 220 power out to it and get out to it, and that's a whole nother project. And to that, I tip my cap to you. But for just people who are looking for something that snaps together, it plugs right in, plug and play as far as the roof connection, all the heaters, you can put it together with just a Phillips head screwdriver, put the door handle and the ionizer on. You have the Bluetooth speakers, which we don't have going, but you can always have audiobooks, podcasts, music, or anything like that. So, big thing is, I have my phone in here. Obviously, it's been in here for 20 or so minutes, and if I was using it, obviously scrolling on TikTok, it'd probably overheat, but having that I just laid on the bench over here, I'll probably be able to keep it cool enough to, I'm going to be able to have it the whole time. So, personal preference, if you want to bring your phone in. For me, like I said, I don't mind it. I'm attached for it for work anyway. So those are all kind of questions we hear a lot. And I personally, like I said, really like this corner unit, just having the ability to stretch out. And so we're at about 140 as far as the temperature. Heart rate is still at about the 150. So we are definitely getting the good sweat going. Let me know if you're just joining us, where you're chatting from or where you're watching from. Drop in the chat if you have any questions, if you've used an infrared sauna before, if you're curious about getting one, if you have one already. We have all 7 different light color settings going with the chromotherapy lighting. So this is a really cool feature with the different light colors having different responses as far as when your eyes perceive the different colored lights. So when your eyes perceive a red, a yellow, or green, a little bit more serotonin, more dopamine, whereas a blue, a violet, more serotonin, or excuse me, with a blue and the violet was more neuroepinephrine, so more of that calming sensation throughout the body.
We got someone on Instagram for you.
So
Celeste says, it's been a while for me since I've been in a sauna. I could use one, but it's expensive. $39.99 for one visit. I'm guessing they go to like a salon or something.
yes, and so that salon, thank you, and it's good to hear that you've used a sauna before. You definitely, I would recommend start using one again. There's tons of benefits, no matter what age. I mean, anyone from young adults all the way up to pretty much elderly can use and actually enjoy a ton of the benefits with infrared saunas. Now, using one, I mean, $39.99 a month, was it? That's obviously not a bad deal today's day and age. There's a lot of things that are investments in your health that do cost a lot more. There's a lot of things that obviously are going to be in that same range. And nice thing with the saunas too, and especially at Good Health Saunas, we have financing options for almost any budget. So I was working with a customer that was using one. I mean, they were paying for an unlimited membership, so it was definitely a little bit more. But after we mathed it out, and a big thing that you want to add value to at the end of your equation is how much are you adding, or how much are you valuing having a good quality sauna that you can have for the rest of your life at the end of paying for your sauna monthly. So with the financing options that we have, she was able to find an option cheaper and saved her a couple bucks and got her a sauna that when she's still paying and done paying in the terms that the financing option was, she's able to use and have the sauna for the rest of her life compared to just having to pay that monthly membership consistently. And so when you're looking at it as a long-term investment, those are ways obviously that you can look at it to save you money. If you're already using one, having that monthly membership adds up. And especially if you're consistently using one already and you know the benefits of it, of using it 2-3 times a week, that's not even saying the gas that it costs to get there, how much time it takes to travel there and back with everyone's crazy busy life nowadays. So all those come into your kind of ROI on getting a sauna, and especially investing one for your own home and having it consistently readily available. Those are tons and tons of key kind of things that'll play a big benefit in your overall health and well-being. And so great question. So obviously it is an investment in your health, and no matter who you get one from, like I said, if you want enough heaters that'll actually get hot enough in an adequate amount of time, it's going to start obviously anywhere from around 6,000 and go up from there. So big thing is having a look at the heater design, heater configuration, what kind of heaters you're using, how many heaters, and then obviously looking at the reputation like we were talking about before. So we are starting to get that good sweat going, guys. Heart rate is still a big thing, not insanely high up there, but I'm still getting that sweat. So that's how you know I'm really detoxing. My body's focusing on pulling out the heavy metals, the toxins, the carcinogens. Like I said, I had a golf outing this weekend. I was still eating not the best food at this golf outing, but now having the ability to use the sauna, my body's still getting into that natural recovery mode. And so we're raising the core temperature slowly. We're still getting a ton of the circulatory benefits just with the amount of heaters. And like I said, having that built-in floor heat, these calf heaters, no matter where I sit in the unit, I'm gonna have even heat distribution. And that's a big thing, like I said, no matter who you get one from. So great question. It's definitely an investment. I would always say it's one of the smartest investments you can make. Customers who get one use it almost every single day. I obviously use saunas pretty much every single day. Every Tuesday we go live at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. So not only this Tuesday, but all the following Tuesdays in the foreseeable future, we will be live. If you guys have any questions, we'd be more than happy to answer any of those. We have tons of great videos in our channel as well. So watch those. If you have any specific questions about like red light therapy, EMF levels, kind of just the overall quality of the saunas, we would be more than happy to kind of show you side by side what separates a $1,500 unit from the advertised $15,000 units out there. So that's a big thing, is you can see just a range of pricing, and there's so many people that sit there and wonder what separates a low quality. And there are a few people that obviously in today's day and age will still just get the lowest quality one. Doesn't matter to them if safety, if plywood, particle boards, off gassing into the unit, they're breathing into that. But most people are looking for something to get the health benefits. It's not just to have a sauna, it's to have something that you're going to use consistently, have in the comfort of your own home, that you and your family can enjoy. So having something where you know it's built bulletproof, it has enough heaters if I wasn't here with others, and we're all getting the same amount of benefit. You don't have to worry about if you're using it with your friend, if she wants to sit and having her sit closer to the heater so she gets hotter, so then she's jeopardizing your session. It's tons of little details, guys, where using it consistently. And I mean, like I said, I like using it in the morning, evening. I've been using saunas probably religiously for the past 5 years. And I mean, obviously I like going to the gym too, but having just an extremely healthy lifestyle, I mean, I don't like to necessarily eat the cleanest. I enjoy the kind of sweet treats and other good amenities, but when it boils down to using a sauna and maintaining that overall healthy lifestyle, I feel like it contributes so much more than a lot of other things. What would be others? I would say sleep, and then diet's definitely important, but using the sauna is probably top 3, hands down, without a question. So those are all key things to consider. I know, like I said, there's lots of options out there, and we've had tons of customers come to us in a pretty much analysis paralysis, I mean, information overload state, where once you actually take a deep breath and you look and you kind of pull back the shades on the industry a little bit, there is a lot of interesting details that are overlooked that are the most important. Don't always trust the marketing, the advertising, the online influencers that are promoting the next product. They probably have a kickback code in there that's going to get them a certain percentage, or getting you a percentage off that's going right back to them. Make sure you actually look at the heater design. If they're promoting 15, 20 different other products, having multiple different products out there, who's to say that they're the ones that are the actual experts in the industry? There's tons of actual information and good information out there when you talk to people who use saunas every day. And that's something where you're not going to find a company that is more focused on creating a better quality product that has a more reputable reputation with customers all across the country, and having a sauna that obviously, like I said, is bulletproof and gets you tons and tons of long-term health benefits. So we are about 30 minutes in. The heart rate is starting to get up there now, so we're definitely in the hundreds, probably closer to 110. You can see I'm starting to get a good sweat. If you noticed, I had kicked that towel over the bench here, and I'm still kind of reconfiguring it, but that's just keeping our life a little bit easier as far as the maintenance. towels, nice thick ones on the bench and on the floor, and then taking the damp towels out when you're done. I'll run the ionizer too, so that'll just help keep the unit nice and clean and the air pure as well. So we are definitely starting to drip sweat. The unit is about the 140s in here right now, so that's where infrared, and a lot of people are thinking, oh, I need it to be 180, 200 degrees in here. I've sat in a sauna that's that hot. I personally don't enjoy it. My hair feels like it's gonna burn out, and everyone's like, oh, well, wear a sauna cap. That still doesn't feel like it's doing justice, because all the heat's closer to the top of my head. You're still having a difficult time breathing. Now it's gonna burn my nose, burning my mouth, it's burning like the tips of my ears if it's that hot. And so using an infrared sauna is a lot less abrasive on the body, and you're still getting all of those benefits of sweating and consistently sweating. And you'll notice now, obviously I'd mentioned earlier, it's starting to get warmer out. We were able to get out there and start golfing. So having the warmer weather and still being able to use a sauna is still muscle relaxation and muscle recovery that I wouldn't be able to get any other way. And so having, and like I said, looking for something that is an investment in your health, we understand that, and we are more than happy to kind of show you what separates a low quality and what makes one a high quality sauna. And obviously there are decent saunas, I will say, but nothing really competes with the hybrid series. I mean, our signature series, as good, if not better. I'd put that up against anything else out there. That thing is still rock solid. We might have to do a live session in one of those shortly here, but I am definitely not insane hydrated the first half of this. But let me know if you guys have any questions. We are still in the 30-minute range with the heart rate up in the 110s. And like I was talking about, having that higher ambient air temperature doesn't mean I'm going to sweat more. So that's a big thing that I had to realize when I started using saunas consistently and using infrared, using traditional saunas, using steam rooms. When I use each type of sauna, I'm not getting the same type of sweat. The time that I'm in it is going to be different. How I feel during it is going to be different. And so the one thing that I will notice is traditional saunas, 10, 20 minutes, very abrasive. Steam rooms, even more abrasive. I don't know, sometimes if you walk into it, some people really can't even walk through that initial that initial steam, just because how hot and abrasive it is. You can't see through it. You really can't open your eyes in it. So some people will say, oh, it's really nice for my respiratory system. I'm still getting that same euphoric feeling in my circulatory and in my respiratory system here because I'm getting more blood flow. I'm still sweating from all the pores in my body, so I'm still getting a ton of the skin benefits, obviously washing my face after, but having the ability to naturally and pull out all the oils that the body produces and then have your body naturally replenish those is how you see a ton of those skin purifying benefits. The skin just soft, much, or not as dry, cracky. And so those are all, like I said, things to consider and on your own wellness and health journey. And for me, I was fortunate enough to just have a job that I learned throughout doing it. So going to the gym 4 to 5 times a week, doing all the different exercises, realizing that, oh, if I stretch consistently 4 to 5 times a week, and especially if I stretch in the sauna, I'm able to stretch further and deeper. And so it makes my just training ability go a lot further in the long run because, like I said, I'm able to go that extra inch when I'm stretching, so I'm not as stiff that next day. And so I've been just using it trial and error, using it around body temperature. And for me, obviously, and the company has been around for 20 plus years, but for me, being able to learn from so many great people out there that have been doing it for much, much longer than I have and have been teaching me all the great things. And whenever I have a question, I can go to them, but I still have been doing it myself as far as trial and error with the diet, the exercise, and having the ability to use a sauna consistently has really, like I said, just amplified all those benefits. So it is a game-changing, life-changing health product. So don't skimp out on the research. Don't click the first Memorial Day offer you see. Now, Good Health Saunas is running a Memorial Day sale that will be one of the biggest spring sales. Like I said, now's a great time before we get into our crazy busy state fair season. That is when we see our big seasonal demand jump up, with winter right around the corner. So if you're looking for a great deal now, you can get in on our delivery schedule ASAP. So hit the link, watch our videos in the page you're on. We've got tons and tons of great info on there. Chances are, if you guys had the question, someone else has had it too. So we always try and answer those right on our website, and hence doing the live streams too. I wouldn't be just jumping in here sweating buckets if I didn't want you guys to obviously see what using a sauna can look like, having the ability to answer any questions, and seeing what consistency can do too, because that's something we preach. We got to show that we're also practicing it. So we, obviously being a company that likes to be as transparent as we possibly can, and we have thousands of customers that enjoy their saunas and absolutely rave about them online. So we appreciate all you guys and your Good Health Sauna and the Good Health Saunas family out there. So thank you, and we appreciate it from all of us here. So shout out if you have a Good Health Saunas and you absolutely love it. We love hearing from you and all the positive experiences. And like I said, we know it is kind of a crazy world, and especially when you're looking at saunas, it seems even crazier. But we try and keep it simple, figure out what's going to work best for you, make sure we'd be a good fit, obviously, and then get you something that you are going to be able to use and enjoy for the rest of your life, and obviously you and your family too. So those are all kind of our key principles here. We are more than happy to, like I said, show you kind of the differences in a low quality and what makes one a high quality. So $150-ish in here now, guys. So the unit's starting to get up there. I wouldn't necessarily need it any hotter than this, but it's just going to keep going because those infrared heaters are going to constantly run. So if the sauna, and if I waited for it to get up to the 145 right now and then trying to jump in, I'd be giving it more of a conventional style sauna, because I'd just be sitting in a little bit more of that hotter air temperature. Now I'd still be getting some of the infrared benefits too, and that's where a customer I was talking to earlier was using one at commercial settings, and they were like, oh, 160 doesn't feel hot enough. And then we kind of walked through how when they use one at a commercial setting, it's after work. So at the commercial setting, that place opens up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I think we discovered, but they turn the saunas on at probably 4 or 5 a.m. And so having the saunas run all day long and then having a customer come in after work, you're really just sitting in kind of that ambient air temperature. I'm sure those heaters are going to cycle on and off throughout your session, and so you're still getting some benefits, but using one and having one in your own home that you can control your own experience definitely reaps long-term benefits. And now using one in a commercial setting is definitely better than not using one at all. Don't get me wrong. Any which way you cut it, sweating is good, but having the ability to, like I said, customize your experience and just having it readily accessible is a true and utter game changer. So use it, try it at the commercial experience, understand that it's probably not the same thing that you're going to be able to replicate in your own home, just because having, like I said, the ability to kind of customize that experience, especially with the built-in reservation mode. You can have a preset if I wanted to get in. Like I said, we knew we were getting in roughly at 7:15, 7:20. I could have the unit kick on 30 minutes ahead of time, and it'll heat up for that desired start time. So it's been a blast so far. We're 40 minutes in. The heart rate is definitely getting up there, and we are going to get on something shortly here that we are a personal fan of, but that's going to be in a minute. So Let me know if you guys are just joining us. Have you used an infrared sauna before? If you're curious about one, drop any questions down in the chat, DM us. We are always happy to look, and I mean, like, always happy to chat and look at what we got as far as seeing if it's something that would benefit, obviously, you guys. So we are 40 minutes in of the hour-long session. This is the corner hybrid, and I really haven't used that L-shaped bench as much, but big thing I like is having the ability, and even if you use like a traditional sauna at the gym, you notice how I can just lean up against this back. It's not going to be insanely hot to the touch. Now, am I still just absolutely dripping sweat? Yes. That's because my core temperature is raised. And so raising that core temperature compared to just that air temperature is really the big key differentiating factor with an infrared sauna. There's a furnace style or a steam room that's pumping hot steam in, or there's infrared heaters that are actually getting into that soft tissue muscle, repairing damaged DNA, repairing damaged cells. So look at what type of sauna you're trying to get, base it on the heater design. What type of benefits are you looking for? If that's lower extremity pain, if that's cardiovascular, if that's skin purification, a full spectrum infrared sauna is going to give you a lot more of those benefits than, let's say, just using a red light therapy panel, or if I were to just use a traditional sauna. So having the ability to kind of, like I said, go up to those higher temperatures like we're doing now, get that passive cardiovascular workout. Like if I were to just quick jump in a traditional sauna that's at 180, 200 degrees, and I sit in there for 10, 15 minutes and my head feels like it's gonna explode, my hair's falling out, my nose is burning, I'm getting much more of the benefits in an infrared while putting a lot less of the abrasion on my body. So 40 minutes in, and that was a long rant, but key factors, guys. And I said I wasn't using the bench. So with 40 minutes in, that is going to be what we like to call the struggle bus point, because now is where I would probably contemplate just getting out. I've definitely sweat a ton. These towels are soaked. I could have probably done that 10 minutes ago, but I like staying in a little bit longer, and especially doing these longer streams for you guys to see that you can stay in a little bit longer. It's not that high abrasive heat is something that we really enjoy. So I also get a lot of people asking me, oh, can I use a sauna more than once a day? And I would say, yeah, but for me, if I don't use it in the morning, today I didn't use it in the morning because I knew I was going to use it in the evening. Now, I had mentioned earlier I had that golf outing over the weekend, so I wasn't necessarily probably drinking as much water as I should have been. It was more of a social kind of, we were all chatting, having a good time, so I know I didn't probably drink as much water as I should have over the weekend. So if by that, I probably shouldn't have used the sauna twice per one day. I was drinking a ton of water today because I knew I was using it tonight, but now, tomorrow, I'm going to be back on schedule because I was drinking a ton of water and I didn't use it twice a day. But that's just me personally. There are some people that'll sit in for 2 30-minute sessions. Now, because I knew I was doing one longer session, that's why I was kind of limited to one for me. But you can use it twice a day. So that will be 45 minutes in, roughly. Oh, never mind. 43 minutes in. Units at about, like I said, in the 150s now. Heart rates well into the hundreds. Probably closer to 110-ish, 120 now. But I'm still not feeling that burning sensation on my nose, my ears, my hair. That's the big game changer where I've like I said, used the insanely hot traditional saunas or steam rooms where, yeah, I mean, you can go in it and you may feel decent, but it's not that same type of sweat as a full spectrum infrared sauna. And so that's, I think, the big thing with the lives is we get a ton of customers asking, oh, do I sweat? Am I going to sweat in an infrared sauna? I've used one that I don't sweat it. And we always, and I personally always like to ask, well, what type of sauna? What brand was it? because like we had mentioned, a lot of them out there don't have enough heaters. If it has poor heater design, it's not going to get up to those higher temperatures, so, or heat up in a quick enough time. Phone is getting a little hard to use. We're trying to read the chat. Let me know if you guys are just joining, if you've used an infrared sauna before, if you've thought about getting one, if you have any questions. If you have a Good Health Saunas and you love it, let us know where you got it from, how long you've had it for. Those are all great questions. We had someone ask earlier, oh, I was paying, I think it was like 40, 50 bucks a month to use one. And we had broken down where if you look for a high quality one, you invest for the long run, it actually saves you money to get one sooner rather than later. Because paying that monthly membership, just like anything, the longer you're paying for it, the more it's going to cost you. So I have a ton of people who are wondering, oh, I don't know if it's the right time. Is it something that I should do now? Should I wait? And as far as looking for a better time, Good Health Saunas, I mentioned earlier with our spring sale, the in-stock units and immediate delivery before our state fair season, where that's right before the big seasonal demand with the winter months right around the corner. It's as good a time as any, and we're more than happy to show you and kind of walk through which options we have. There's a ton of great sizes, shapes, heater design and configuration. So we have customers ask, can I put it outdoors? And no matter who you get one from, it should be indoors. Most people put it in like a basement, spare bedroom. It clips together in like 45 minutes, maybe an hour, all plug and play. Nice quick heat up time, and you can take it down, you can move it if you're working on a remodel. We have tons of customers who will put it in an unfinished basement. They'll be working on the basement, they'll take it down, they'll finish that part of the basement, and they'll put it right back up. But in that meantime, they still were able to use it and get those health benefits. So all things to consider, guys. That struggle bus is real today. The sweat's kind of getting in my eyes. Typically, I'd probably be wiping myself off a little bit more. I forgot my extra towel in here today, but we will suffice. Sorry guys, we were staying hydrated. That's 45, 46 minutes in. Heart rate's up there. We have absolutely drenched these towels. We are absolutely sweating buckets in the units, still in the 150s. So anyone who says they don't sweat in an infrared sauna, I always like to ask them how they've used it. More often than not, they're not using it right, or it's just a low quality sauna, guys. That's a big thing. And so using one at body temperature, tell me you're not sweating buckets. I have Bluetooth speakers in here that normally we'd just be blasting the music for these last couple minutes here trying to rock it out, but you guys are coming along with me. On the struggle bus, we punched our ticket a few minutes ago, and we're 40-ish minutes in, almost 50 minutes in, guys. Give me a break here. But as you can see, I've been staying hydrated throughout the whole time. We have customers who are absolutely phenomenal at scheduling appointments with us, so that's a big thing, guys. If you want to actually sit there and get your questions answered by an expert, we're more than happy to do so. A lot of companies will just hit you with a one-time pay link. You may not be able to put a face to the name. You may not be able to talk to them directly. They may just be a rep for the company or a personal influencer or a partner or what have you. But those are all kind of key things to consider when you are looking to invest in your health. So we want to be a part of your guys' journey for the long run. And obviously, using a sauna is something that we preach and we practice about. So always grateful to have you guys along on the journey with me. And this struggle bus is a long ride, but that's the best part. The heart rate is up in the 115s now. It's been 48 minutes. If I wanted to, I could have waited a few extra minutes to let it heat up. Probably cut my session time down by a few minutes, but for me, for these longer streams, I like getting in at those lower temperatures, heating up all the way with it, maximizing that infrared absorption. So all depends how you want to use it. Build it into your schedule, guys. I hear all the time, my mom or my significant other, my wife uses it in the morning. I use it in the evening. We have a 3-person unit. Even though we had this size, we're still happy with it. Now, I have customers that have gotten the 2-person and say, oh, we still use it together every once in a while. We'll go in there 20, 30 minutes, obviously go in the hot tub after or something, but using it consistently, building it in your schedule, guys, even year round is huge. People in those summer months still think, oh, I'm getting outside, I may be getting a good sweat going, but if you're not getting that cardiovascular benefit, I mean, heart disease is the #1 killer in America. Using a sauna reduces your risk for using a sauna reduces your risk for all-cause mortality, Alzheimer's, dementia. I mean, it's one of the smartest investments you can make in your health. So as you guys can see, I'm absolutely dripping sweat. This is the Good Health Sauna's 3-person corner hybrid. The amount of heaters in this thing is unreal. The space that I have for my legs, the Bluetooth speakers, and all the 7 different light color settings, the floor heat, and then the 2 front heaters too. I couldn't ask for a better unit, but those are, I mean, things that we've noticed and we've looked out for in kind of the research and development, so you guys don't have to waste any money or waste thousands of dollars on something that doesn't heat up or breaks down after a year or two. Whew. Whew. So 50 minutes in, it's gonna be a wrap on the session, guys. We want to say thank you again for joining us. It was always fun, always is fun. Have a great week, not just a good week. And that'll wrap up the live session from the Good Health Sauna's Corner Hybrid. Thank you guys for joining us. Join us next week, Tuesday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time for another 1-hour live session.